Driving is obviously one of the most important aspects of any GTA game. This is of course due to the fact that most of the game is spent driving from point A to point B over and over again. Now, I don't have a problem with GTA 5's driving, but after almost 10 years, it got a little boring. Here are some possible reasons why. GTA 5 has very responsive arcade driving physics. The high downforce combined with the slow speed of the cars make driving really easy. In my opinion, the cars were deliberately made slow to A, make the map feel bigger, and B, to adapt to the harsh surface of the map. The only reason why I still enjoy GTA 5's driving after almost 10 years are the glitches. I think my favorite one is definitely the speed brake glitch. To understand how this glitch works, you just brake for a brief moment before you go over a bump, and if timed correctly, the game will give you a brief boost after you land. These glitches are about the only interesting thing about GTA 5's handling. Plus the punishment for taking risks and crashing is very minimal. And it's even worse when it comes to GTA Online. In that game, there are almost no consequences for crashing. And it's a shame, really. Here are some of the features that are missing from GTA Online. Wheels getting stuck or falling off. Being launched from a windshield. Or the lesser known, your car overheating or your oil getting drained. I'll admit that some of those things can be annoying at times, but I don't think they're annoying enough to not be included in GTA Online. Well, except of course for stuff like races and most of the online free roam missions. Although, on the other hand, seeing someone fly out of the windshield in a race would be kinda fun. One thing I'm really curious about is how are they gonna deal with cabin destruction in GTA 6? You see, they disabled cabin destruction in GTA 5 after first person was introduced. For obvious reasons. What they could do is disable the first person when the cabin is destroyed too much. Or you could make the car undrivable. And I know this could be annoying just like when you are driving in the water with first person in GTA 5, but it serves a purpose, you know? You can't have everything. And I would like having destructible cabins again.
Oh my god!
This of course wouldn't be a video about GTA physics if we didn't talk about GTA 4. I'm sure you are tired of hearing about this, so I'll try to be brief. The suspension physics in that game were a little over the top, but if anything, it made it more fun. Due to the fact that the cars had almost no downforce, taking corners at high speeds was out of the question. This combined with the fact that the cars were a little more fragile than in GTA 5 did make for a bit more interesting gameplay. Was it sometimes annoying? Yeah, but it never got boring. One thing I forgot to mention about GTA 5 physics is that for some reason the cars are a little more harder to flip than in GTA 4. And it's not just the suspension being a little more stiff. It's like there is a flag in the handling keeping the cars on four wheels. I don't know, it's just really weird. Now, there is this mod that takes some aspects from GTA 4's driving and applies them to GTA 5. And to be completely honest with you, it creates one of the most satisfying driving physics I've ever experienced in any video game ever. On top of transferring some physics aspects from GTA 4, it also adjusts the acceleration and top speed of some vehicles, making it more on par with their real-life counterparts. This of course increases the risk factor significantly, making driving both a little more dangerous and a little more fun. It also changes how easily the cars are damaged, no longer making you feel like you are driving a tank when you are driving a station wagon, meaning that crashing most cars at high speeds usually totals them.
Start, you turd!
Off-roading is made a little too realistic in my opinion. The grip almost non-existent on surfaces like grass or mud. It's so extreme that some vehicles don't even take off. This actually made me wonder how realistic are they willing to make the driving in GTA 6. Could you imagine if they made it as realistic as this mod makes it? It's hard to imagine crossing Everglades in a minivan, for example. Well, unless... That was actually way easier than I expected it to be. Well, anyways, having harsh physics like this would be a pretty good way to utilize vehicle customization in GTA 6. Imagine actually needing off-road wheels when you are going on a surface like this. But then again, imagine getting stuck in a swamp with a mission vehicle that doesn't have them. How would you even fail the mission to restart from a checkpoint? You can't drown because the water's too shallow. You don't have any sticky bombs on you like in GTA 5 because the inventory slot is very limited.
Hamburger.
You just have to hope a friendly alligator will put you out of your misery. And all this could have been avoided if the physics weren't too realistic. You may think, just make the game detect when you are stuck. But then again, how does the game tell the difference between being stuck and doing a burnout, for example? And all of this is just scraping the surface of the problems that come up when you are trying to do something realistic in a video game. This is why so many games avoid realism completely and stick to arcade driving. And GTA 6 finds itself in this mysterious limbo. On one hand, they can play it safe and just make the driving similar to GTA 5's. This would be understandable given how successful the game was. While on the other hand, they could try something completely new. What this could be, I have no idea. But with Red Dead 2 in mind and seeing how good the physics were in that game, I'm actually kinda hopeful they will go for the realistic driving. It's really hard to say, because in the few videos we have of someone actually driving in that game, they actually don't turn that much. I know it's funny to say, but it's kinda hard to say what kind of driving will the game have if you only see someone driving in a straight line. Except for the trailer, but that footage can be altered. Well, not could be, it obviously is. Plus, it's still an unfinished game in those videos, so it will most definitely be different. What they could do is introduce driving assistance for modern cars, which you could turn on and off, just like here in BeamNG Drive. As for the older cars, they should be a little bit harder to drive. I think it would make perfect sense, both in terms of realism and gameplay, for newer cars to have safety features, while the older would be kinda challenging to drive. But there's one thing I will say with utmost certainty. GTA 6 is definitely gonna have more fragile vehicles than GTA 5. Although most likely not as fragile as this mod has, but still I think it's the move in the right direction. One interesting thing to point out is that some vehicles are also making a comeback from GTA 4, and I'm talking about those that weren't in GTA 5. Could this mean something significant? But one thing that I've always hated about vehicles from GTA 4 in GTA 5 was that some of them only came in the customized version in GTA 5, while in GTA 4 they had stock variants. I think they would include them, but the game was too big and they had to unfortunately cut them. Another elephant in the room is the downforce. This is one of the things that the mod handles perfectly, because it removes downforce from all the cars except the ones from the supercar class, and of course the F1 cars also. Of course, NPCs have no idea how to deal with it, so they'll end up crashing 99.999% of the time, when they are driving fast of course. I only had to use mod menu once when I played the game with this mod, and it was in the mission when you had to jump on the train. Now, jumping on a train, that's no problem, but actually staying on the train and getting to the cabin was a nightmare. And that's because bike physics is also altered. Another issue that occurs happens in the first heist when you pick the cheapest driver, because he actually stops in the canals on the map, so he basically cannot take off unless you push him. Those are the only two issues I've had when playing the game with this mod. And thanks to the fact that the cars are so fast, you sometimes drive to the destination before the dialogue finishes. Meaning that if you want to hear the whole dialogue, you have to wait. But that's just an inconvenience. As for racing, that is a completely different chapter. Now, there are two kinds of different races in GTA. First of course are the classic races on land, and then there are the stunt races from the Cunning Stunt update. Let's start with the classic races first. Of course, AI didn't know how to handle the physics, so it just crashed on the first turn. But putting that aside, racing with this mod reminded me of Wreckfest. It had the same weight to it, if that makes sense. I think if AI was adjusted to it in GTA 5, it would be perfect. I actually think some 5's servers use the physics mod, so it may be possible to experience some online races there. Anyway, as for the stunt races, some tricks wouldn't work because obviously the physics are a lot different. This is a shame, of course, but it's not like there were many opportunities to utilize them anyway. And you have to watch your speed a lot more because you'll just go flying over the racetrack sometimes. But as I've mentioned previously, downforce on the supercars is still applied, so it's not that different. But the realistic destruction would need to be toned down a bit, at least during races. Comparing the driving between this mod and GTA 5 feels like comparing Trackmania to Flatout, or Wreckfest, whichever you prefer. Excellent racing games, but both have very different goals. Trackmania is obviously supposed to be more competitive, while Wreckfest or Flatout is supposed to be more fun, I guess, is the word for it. Anyways, thank you for making it to the end. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Feel free to subscribe as well, and I guess I'll see ya.